guys, Ryan with the Driven Channel. I am back, and this time I am doing another, I don't know, we called them Review Your Ride, but basically I am here with Derek. He is the president of M&B Detailing, and if you've seen some of the really beautiful photography on my channel and sometimes on my Instagram and Facebook, that's this guy. All of the like kind of ugly snaps of cars at weird angles and blurry shots, those are me. Anyway, so he's the guy that's been doing some of my photography work. So he just got this BMW done. It is a 83 733i, and I have not done a classic car yet. And he said that he was going to get this car done and ready for us to review, and I could not turn it down. So I know all of you out there want me to review your car, and don't worry, I will get around to that. I'm going to have another Review Your Ride session where I'm probably going to set up 4 or 5 cars a day over a weekend. That's happening probably in the next month or so. So don't worry about that. We'll get all your cars reviewed as well. Anyway, I came here today to talk to Derek a little bit. We've been buddies now for a little over a year, and he is a BMW. I don't even. What's the word for it? BMW.
Fanatic, connoisseur.
Okay.
Yeah, collector.
I like fanatic.
Yeah.
That seems right, because you roll into Derrick's house and there's no less than 3 old BMWs riding in the driveway at any given time. And those are just his, not the ones that he's detailing or anything like that, which can be even more. So, so tell me a little bit about this car.
Well, this car, what do you say about it? I mean, it's a nice little car. Probably one of my favorites that I've owned to date. I've had well over 30 cars, and this one probably does it for me the most, except for my 540. But that's another story for another day. But this one, I mean, in terms of driving and in terms of the character of the car, it really kind of takes you away. It kind of surprises you. I've noticed it driving it anyway. I mean, if you take to a back road or something like that, this car really does just it does what you tell it to do. And that's
which is where we're at right now. We're on the secret testing facility for the Driven Channel. You may recognize this from a couple of videos where a Viper got really small in front of me.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, this car kind of shocks me every time I drive it. I mean, these tires were not cheap, as you find on the website, but I just had to go with them as a, per Ryan's suggestion to go over the proper look of this car.
Had to get the fatties.
Oh yeah, had to get the fatties on the BBSs, but no, I mean, it just drives really well. I mean, it drives like a 7 Series, though. That's the great thing about BMW, is that you get your luxurious feel, but you also get your, your sportiness whenever you want it. So, I mean, you can cruise through town on this car, and you can drive over, gravel, you can drive through any rough terrain you want, and you'll still feel like you're sitting on a cloud. But at the same time, you can hit a back road, such as our secret location here, and you can just carve it up. I mean, even though this car is straight 6, it's a 3-speed automatic, this thing will still tear it up if you wanted to. So
yeah, we're hanging tight real good with this Lexus IS350 convertible here. He's just kind of driving like a grandma, but I think we're still cruising at a pretty good kick here.
Oh yeah. Just don't try to pass. Again, 3-speed, not going to be very good to do.
Right.
But
no, I love the dashboard on this, because the classic BMW dashboard. But my favorite thing is it has this miles per gallon indicator. Now, that was long before any other car company had ever even attempted such a thing.
Yep. So
which right now it says 5, but I'm hard on the throttle. So.
Oh yeah, at any given time, you know how much gas mileage you're not getting because it's a straight 6.
Exactly.
So. But no, I mean, it's a cool feature to have. I mean, the Speedo says 150, but I mean, the way this car is geared, I highly doubt it's ever going to get there. But
that's okay.
Again, it's just fun to drive, though. I mean, even going at moderate speeds, this car really is just a blast. Honestly, there's nothing else to say about it. It's just flat out fun to drive. I mean, it's miles per gallon are through the roof on this car. So.
Oh, okay. No, the cornering's actually really good. I'm not even squealing any tires here.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a lot for the tires to give. So
I kind of expected this to have a little bit more roll than it does too.
Yeah.
It rides super smooth, but it's actually surprising that it handles that well for a BMW that's pretty significantly older than you are, right?
35 years old.
Yeah, it's not quite as old as I am, but that's okay. So anyway, one of the things that we like to do on the Driven Channel is talk a little bit about what got you into cars. And you and me, we've had this conversation in the past, and I think maybe a little bit on a previous video, but I remember something about you talking about your dad used to sell cars, right?
Yeah, my dad used to be the #1 salesman at Machens BMW, actually, back in the 90s when I was growing up. And so, I mean, he would bring various cars home, but I mean, he was always in a BMW. I mean, he always owned one my entire childhood. I mean, he had a white A34, which is, you know, kind of why I bought mine when I did, because that's the car I brought him from the hospital in. And then, I mean, really, BMWs, I stuck with them because, I mean, it's the car I really learned how to drive in. I mean, I grew up in it, yeah, but, I mean, it's a very distinct memory of mine that, you know, when he would pick me up from school, we'd come home and get onto my street, and he would ask me, he said, hey, do you want to drive? And I mean, as a kid, you know, your dad's going to let you drive a car, you know, let alone this 4,600 pound BMW.
Right.
I mean, yeah, any kid's going to take that offer. So,
you're damn right.
I'd be like, yeah, I want to drive. So then he'll, you know, take me and put me in his lap. And I was probably second, third grade at this point. And, you know, he would, you know, obviously I couldn't reach the pedal. So I'd sit in his lap and I would steer the car. And just down our street, it felt like it was, you know, 3 miles. But it was really just a couple hundred feet to get to our house on that street. But it felt like forever. I mean, that's something that's going to stick with me as long as I live. I mean, every time I'm in any of my BMWs, particularly my A38, my A34, I mean, since those are what I grew up in, it's like I'm a child again. So it kind of takes me away from the struggles of life, kind of takes me away from, you know, all the, I guess, the struggles of adulthood, if you will.
Right.
And it takes me back to, you know, family vacations. It takes me back to being picked up from school, or, you know, just all the things that I loved about my childhood. I get to relive every single day when I drive my cars. So that's one reason I stick to them.
Right.
Yeah.
That is awesome. I really love hearing that. And I know at one point I asked you what your first car was, and I think you said it was a G-body or something,
yes,
right?
I actually had 12 G-bodies before I got into BMWs. My first car was an 86 Regal with a 307 V8 and a 3-speed TH350. And
the turbo 350.
Yeah, but the thing is, I bought the car and it knocked. I knew it knocked when I bought it. I bought it for $350, and oh, it knocked like all hell. I mean, it knocked like it really wanted to come inside. So, no, it didn't last very long, because shortly thereafter that I got a Grand National roller, which I basically took the Regal apart in order to, you know, make the Grand National live. And I didn't get to keep that car, so then I lost 2. But I ended up buying Cutlass after that, and a couple more Cutlasses, a couple more Monte Carlos. And then I got tired of being pulled over. You know, long story short, they were fun. I mean, I had a lot of fun doing them, and I learned a lot about them, a lot about cars overall. I mean, I did my first paint job on a G-body. You know, that kind of showed me the ropes. I was able to learn with those cars. And then after that, I was like, yeah, I'm tired of getting pulled over. And a neighbor of mine had an 84 6 Series, which looks just like this car. It's just a 2-door.
2-door, right.
And that was my first
Shark
BMW.
nose, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I bought that car the day after Valentine's Day in 2013. Yeah, 2013 I bought that car. And it was rust bucket. Oh my God, these, you know, the E24, particularly terrible as far as water irrigation goes. So, I mean, they would rust out. I didn't have any floors. The quarters were on their way out. So I was basically kind of driving around hoping that didn't fall through.
Right.
And then I bought my first E34, and then it just kind of started from there. Once you buy your first BMW, I mean, if you have a passion for it, you really can't stop buying them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I've become that way with Volkswagens. I didn't, you know, my dad never had a Volkswagen. He never had me drive a Volkswagen or anything. I don't have any stories like that about Volkswagens. I didn't actually discover German cars. I was afraid of them, actually.
Most people are.
Yeah, I was afraid of German cars until I got in my 30s, and I realized that, you know, I could afford to buy and maintain one of these things, and I always kind of wanted to try one.
Oh yeah.
So I bought, actually I bought a 2000 Volkswagen Passat. That was my first VW. That was
nice.
Before you knew me, actually. Yeah. And yeah, and so that was my first one. It was a 5-speed turbocharged 4-cylinder, fun little car. I dropped it and I put wheels on it, and that's pretty much all I did to it. I didn't do anything else to it because I knew it was slow, and
yeah,
it was just fun to drive. But you know, I had enough of that, and I decided I had to get a GTI.
Yeah, you had to get something fast.
We all know what happened after that.
Yeah, it started this.
I kind of got the Volkswagen fever.
Yeah, it's kind of a downward spiral, depending on who you ask. But
exactly.
But no, I mean, a lot of people have this misconception about German cars, and there's no reason to. I mean, the parts are a little bit more expensive, yes, but the thing is, you don't have to replace parts nearly as often as you would.
Good brakes too, by the way.
Oh, they're fantastic. You wouldn't have to replace your brakes as often as you would in a Ford or you know, a fuel pump. I mean, these things, I mean, these cars are coming up on an age, you know, 20, 30 years old, and you should expect things to kind of, you know, go south a little bit from time to time on these things. I mean, because nothing lasts forever. But I mean, once you do replace that fuel pump, or once you do replace those control arms or what have you, you don't have to worry about it again for as long as you're on the car.
Right. And if you know what you're doing, you can source the parts for, you know, maybe just a little bit more than you would get for an American car. So
exactly.
I totally agree. Yeah, no, I'm not afraid of German cars at all anymore. As a matter of fact, I can't see myself owning something that's not a German car.
Yeah.
At least in the near future.
Yeah. So, I mean, on top of that, they're easier to work on. I mean, I actually currently have a Ford van, and when I worked at a body shop, I did a little bit of work on Fords, and nothing against Ford, but I mean, as far as domestic versus foreign vehicles, particularly German, they're so well engineered because they're over engineered. So they're so easy to take apart. I mean, it's modular as could possibly be. I mean, everything's right in front of you. You need to take out this bolt, this screw to get XYZ out, and then you change it, put it back to a very specific torque setting. But after that, I mean, you can't get any more money for the car.
Oh, I totally agree. I want to apologize to everyone for this camera moving. The forward-facing camera is mounted on the rearview mirror, and the G-forces that we're experiencing right now are just a little too much for it.
Oh, yeah.
It looks like the truck pulled out from in front of this Lexus IS, and I didn't realize that the guy in the Lexus IS really wanted to play. So
oh, yeah.
we're definitely still keeping up with him, but this the last couple of minutes here have been a little bit more fun for me.
Yeah, definitely.
So anyway, Derek, I really appreciate you having me come out here and drive this car. I love classic cars. I love German cars. I mean, this is actually the first old German car that I've driven since I was probably like 18 or 19 years old.
Wow.
Back in the day, whenever I lived in St. Louis and worked in Chesterfield in a shop there, and we used to see stuff like this roll through all the time.
Oh, yeah.
So it's one of the reasons why I really dig this stuff. But again, I appreciate you letting me come out here and hoon this around Rowdy here a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Oops, I just disclosed the location of the secret test track.
We're gonna mute that. We're gonna mute that.
Anyway, thanks a lot, man.
Hey, not a problem.
And we will see you guys on the next video.